I'm on board. I wonder if it started yet. Oh, crikey, it started. Hello, everybody. Hi there. Hi, it's Ted here again. Welcome to a bank holiday evening with myself, Ted, and that amazing man, the model-making guru himself. Introduce yourself. Hello. Say hello. Foxx
hello,
Wolf.
everyone out there in Teleland. Being efficient tonight, I'm getting ready to get the comments quickly.
Yeah, I'll try and get the comments up.
I have a new method that doesn't involve faffing about.
Streaming live. So, welcome. We hope everybody had a good bank holiday and you haven't gorged yourself on Easter eggs and all that chocolate. Please, if you're going to be sick, can you please step out of the room and be sick somewhere else, because I've got to get the mop out and clean up afterwards. Yeah. So hopefully this weekend has brought you some time at the model bench as well. You've maybe had some time to yourself while the children have run around sort of off their heads with sugar and chocolate.
Oh, that's like me. That's what I do.
Right, I've got the chat up more or less straight away this evening.
Yes, so my new method is proving somewhat efficient in that I am also almost in the chat.
We've got the technicalities ironed out now, which means that because we've got because we've got these technicalities ironed out, which means that something else will show up now, and that'll completely flummox us.
I'm in the chat.
Yeah, right.
Less than a minute by my watch.
We're almost straight on the chat as soon as it comes live. We're almost professionals. Am I in focus?
Don't tempt the wrath of the whatever from high atop the thing.
Wobbling the focus. Yeah, there's the back in focus again. Right, there's one or two people in already. Welcome to you all. Nice to see you. Hopefully, if it's your last day at work, you're making the most of it. Sorry, not your last day at work, but your last day at holiday before you go back to work.
Last day of freedom.
Last day of freedom, you're making the most of it.
Yeah.
Right, who we got in? Ships, boats and hovercrafts. That's a new one. Haven't seen that before, but welcome to you. Phil East, good evening. Mike Mountain, welcome again. Fraser Duncan, good evening. TK, TK again. He's never away from here. Good evening, TK. How are you? Let's Build Models. Hi, guys. Northern Modeler. Hello. Making Models. Hi, Carl. Welcome. Hope that tank's going all right. I saw the other video. I saw the latest video. It's coming along great. Thank you.
Did your puppy eat the street waffles? That's the question. You'll know what that means.
Yep. He says he's building track links. Track links is almost as bad as jerry can stuff.
You've said jerry can.
Making Models said he's guarding the street waffles from the dog. Fraser Duncan says his Ferrari 250 GTO is almost done. When you finished it, send us along a picture to eModels, send it along to the Facebook page, and we might get it showcased for you. Yeah. In fact, anybody, if you've got a model out there, especially if you've got an eModels sticker next to it, send us them into the Facebook page. Put them on the visitors side, and everybody can see your work. Yeah, we're good. Let's see it all. Carl said he was off work for 2 weeks. Oh, right. Yeah, I did see something a short time ago that he hadn't been too well, but hopefully everything's better. Oh, boys, good evening.
Good evening. Well, like it says, he's finally managed to catch a live stream.
Well, yeah, we're here every Monday, or we try to be anyway. So, right. Oh, boys was in. Scott Sutherland says he can't eat Easter eggs.
Oh, sorry, go on. You can't eat Easter eggs.
Can't eat Easter eggs. That's bit of does it mean you can't eat them, or could you liquidize them and drink them? Never mind. Yeah, TK said he's still here from the last time we woke him up. Yeah, that's it. He just stays with the link live. I just wait till we come back.
Because he's got some super powered rig. He's got like 18 monitors and everything's he's got all these different live streams ready to go, like a control center, like a nerve center.
That's it. Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Right, evening, guys. Yeah, so Mark has finally caught a live stream. Welcome along. Hopefully we've settled on this better time now. It might be a little bit better for everybody. But don't forget, while you're with us, and especially if you're in chat, you can ask any questions you want. It doesn't have to be model related. We'll do our best to either avoid it without you noticing. We'll just ignore it, or we'll try and answer it.
That's if you ask Ted a sci-fi question, he'll just pretend it's not
please do not send any sci-fi questions.
Do send sci-fi questions. Send all of them. Send all of them
directly to me, because I just won't be able to answer them.
Send any sci-fi questions to helgan35@geocities.com.
We were hoping that Tony could have been along with us tonight again. We have sent him an invite to join in the hangout. So if he does pop in, he'll pop in down the corner a little bit.
To be fair, we did give him approximately about 62 seconds notice. So.
Yeah. So he's probably just waking up from his cup of tea.
HG Barnes says, "Great t-shirt, Fox." Thank you.
Okay. Explain the t-shirt, please. People may not know.
It's an Imperial Aquila from Warhammer. It's the symbol of the Imperial, the human Imperium. Aquila, I think it is.
So they started giving you t-shirts every time you go in that Warhammer shop now, haven't they?
No, I went in. My local Warhammer store had a birthday, and I walked in and I got a load of free cake and a bag of goodies, in which was this t-shirt and this wristy band thing. So it was quite nice. Not been in for a while, actually. I think they'll be missing me. I've not fallen into the shop for a while.
They'll be sending people around just to check on you now.
Yeah, just check it, Mr. Wolf. You've not spent money. I mean, they've been around for a few weeks.
Yeah, it's like leaving milk on the doorstep of old age pensioners, because you haven't been in and spent money. They'll be sending people around to check on you.
Yeah.
Where are we up to? Yeah, Tony Black says, "Evening, Rusting Customs Models." That's another one we haven't seen in before, but good evening to you. Alan Kelly says, "How do we paint figures?" Moving on.
I've never seen you run backwards so fast, Ted.
Mark Laird says he couldn't eat Easter eggs because his son's not good with dairy. Shit about that, but loads of sweets. Yeah.
Somebody have just pointed out, actually correctly, that I was wearing this t-shirt on the live stream on Saturday night as well, on my own live stream. Yeah, I haven't worn it non-stop. It was the first one I grabbed today. It has been washed since Saturday.
No,
I'm not that.
No,
it's like,
let's admit I've got the same shirt on as I had last week. Let's admit we're men in our man caves and we don't wash.
We haven't actually left the man. We just pressed a button to stop that last live stream on Saturday and pressed it again now to start, and that's it. So, yeah, it's not gone stinky yet, so I'm good. A couple of weeks more, then I'll put it in the wash again.
That's it. Yeah. Have a bath once a month, whether you need it or not.
Oh, Mom.
Right.
Flash models asked the question that means I instantly hate him. No, I'm only joking. No, I didn't. It's it may be a genuine question, so I'll answer it genuinely. Ask if I ever finished my D'Agostini Millennium Falcon. On the off chance it's a genuine question, not just having a laugh. I got 6 episodes in and realised it's 4 times the size of my workbench. So until such time as I get the money to have my garage knocked down and rebuilt as a model making studio, it's not happening. So maybe one day, if I'm rich.
Yeah, you could win the lottery next week.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Then you can build us all a man cave.
Yeah, but you know what I do, Ted? You know what I do? I wouldn't get the garage knocked down. You know what we want to do? Have a bunker made in the back garden, under the garden. So I can have a recording studio and a model maker studio. I can make loads of noise, nobody ever hear it. And it's also safe from, if North Korea decides to get...
Well, yeah, that would. I was just going to say that would be safe if when North Korea kicks off, but that's getting into politics, and we won't go there. We don't.
We'll move away from that one. A little bit of politics, but not too much.
Tony Black says it's a man cave sweat lodge.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd do it I'd have an underground bunker because that's even more cool.
Right, I've just had a note from Adam over in America, who Enigma Model Making said he was along shortly.
You had to think then.
Yeah, I couldn't think I've got that many head full of names.
I'm the same. I'm like, is it? Wait, it's no. It's making no. It's hang on. It's models by no. It's that one.
Oh, right. Is that a model biscuit in the background, Mr. Fox? Says,
is that a model biscuit? No, these are real live biscuits. This about 10 o'clock last night. I came upstairs to just have an hour of watching some Deep Space Nine before I went to bed, and it was like there, full.
Right, now a question for you about chocolate biscuits.
Yes, I can answer all questions about chocolate biscuits as long as it just involves me eating them.
Which is the top and which is the bottom?
There's a different way to ask that. This is the correct side. That's the answer you need. That's the answer you need. That's the correct side. This is just leafy nonsense. It's just
So is the chocolate? I guess it qualifies for
Oh, you're broken up on us there, Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello. We lost you there for a second. It qualifies for what?
Which side of it qualifies for stupid question of the week, and which side of the chocolate biscuit is up?
Again, I'll say the chocolate side is the correct side. The other side we don't discuss.
Well, this question was on the radio this morning, and they did answer it, and I thought, yeah, it's quite a sensible answer. It's the way that the chocolate's made, and Phil East says the chocolate is on the bottom. Or is it? Well, the way they're made, Mr. Digestive says the way they make biscuits is that the biscuit is skimmed across a reservoir of chocolate. So,
a reservoir of chocolate. I'm having images in my mind now.
Yeah, it's chocolate. It's Easter, isn't it? It's chocolate.
Is that like a mountain of kebab, like a reservoir of chocolate?
You come off the mountain of kebab and down through the reservoir of chocolate
and into the sea of regret.
Yeah, so I would say, I think today the education is that chocolate is on the chocolate biscuit, chocolate down is the right way.
Yeah, I will go with the group that says chocolate is on the bottom.
Yeah. So
we have a real question.
Oh, we've got a real question from Ron Mack. Go on, you saw it first.
What did you call him the other week when he first started coming on? It wasn't Ron Mack. You called him like some rock star name.
Oh, I can't.
It was Ron Mack now, we know.
Yeah.
It says, evening guys, have you ever used any unusual bits to replace a part you lost in a kit? I used spaghetti for a part of a pipe. I lost it and it worked. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That takes me back to being a kid and sticking bits of pasta onto cartridge paper and with PVA glue.
Yeah, that's pretty good ingenious thinking like
that. Yeah. What did I do? I once had a model Citroen 2CV. I think I mentioned this in the Treehouse stream of the day. And I Mad Maxed it out and made it all kind of post-apocalyptic with like metal plates on the windows and stuff and little holes. What I did was, when I was about 13, I had a Halifax Building Society account. And you got this little plastic card holder. And I got rid of the account, thrown the card away, but this little plastic card holder, it was like my phone case now, but it was ribbed and it was very thin plastic. So I cut the clear film out and cut the ribbed piece out, and it looked just like corrugated sheet metal. So I cut a little hole out and then glued that over the windscreen, and that was the corrugated sheet metal over the windscreen.
Oh, ingenious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other bit, I wanted some mesh. I wanted some wire mesh on the side window, but I didn't have, obviously, any wire mesh. So I got an old net curtain and cut a square out, glued that in, and when you paint it, it looks like chicken wire in scale. My mum wasn't happy that I'd cut a big hole in the net curtain, of course. I may have suffered the consequences on that.
Well, you sat here and you think, oh, what can I do with that? And you have to look around the room first, don't you? You have to sit and you have to look around the room and you think, oh, I could do that. Yeah, but that'll mean that whatever it's from, it's going to be useless from now on. But oh, what the hell? I'm going to use it for a model. Yeah, so you cut the net curtain up and that's it. Yeah.
There's usually like a process of elimination. Like I'll look around this room, and if I can't find something, I'll go to the kitchen and see what I can scrounge. Like, can I use a chopstick? Don't know. Do we need that plastic fork? What about that corkscrew? And then if there's nothing there, then I'll go around the rest of the house, see if I can just find a thing. And you'd be surprised the little things you might find, like a little plastic thing that came off something and nobody used to just put it on the mantelpiece and it's been there for 5 years. And like, that'd be brilliant as a such and such.
Yeah, you end up with a drawer full of that sort of stuff. But that's the ingenious side of scratch building. If you ever, when I convince you to get into scratch building, Mr. Foxx, the ingenuity and things that you find and make things of. I remember use on the top of a tug, a model tug that I built. I needed a compass binnacle to go on the top. For some reason, there was some of these orange vitamin tablets. I can't think of the name of them, Benalka or something like that. But it was exactly the tube that these orange tablets came in was exactly the right size for this compass binnacle. Regardless that the tube was still full of these vitamin tablets, they were all emptied out into a plastic bag, and I claimed the plastic tube. So unlike that kid that's on the sort of washing up liquid advert that has to wait months and months for his dad to finish using the dishwasher, liquid, just squirted it all out, used it. Yeah, that's what it did.
There is a classic tale for those who don't know. Most people do know, but if you know your sci-fi and your movies, I know you'll be glazing over now, Ted. The Y-wings, the Y-wings in Star Wars and New Hope. You know, the three movies that do exist. Star Wars, the Y-wings, when they made the engines on the sides, you get the tube of the engine, and there's like the round bit on the end, like the round thing. The tube of the engine is from a Saturn V rocket, but the round thing on the end is called a legs capsule, and it's L''EGG. It was a brand of tights, women's tights, and they came in this egg-shaped plastic thing, and you take the pointy bit off, and you've got the round bit, and it's a perfect dome, and that's what the front of the engines on the Y-wing are on the studio model. They're hosiery containers.
Oh, yeah.
Random factoid of the day.
Oh, yeah, right. Moving on from sci-fi.
There was a comment I need to read to you, Ted. A couple of them. Make a Model says McVitie's admitted the chocolate is on the bottom.
Yeah, I think they're probably listening to the same radio station I was listening to this morning.
Ron Mack says that you called him Axl Rose the first time he came on, and TK says, does Ted know who Axl Rose is?
Yes, I do. Isn't he a rock star? Yeah.
Well, folks, you heard it here first. No, I know. Secretly, I know Ted's into his kind of heavy metal and stuff like that, and dark things you don't know.
Yeah, my hair used to be down here at one time.
I've heard Ted say a rude word. Once or twice.
Tony Black says he used a plastic bag that onions come in as a camo net over the backpack of his sand trooper.
No, that's a good idea.
Good idea.
The Hook Boy says he used the mesh from his chainsaw helmet for the 1.6 King Tiger's engine cowl. Can I just point out, he said the mesh from his chainsaw helmet, and we just have to stop broadcasting now because we can't beat that kind of awesome.
Yeah.
He had a chainsaw helmet. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Did he cut the two squares out just where his eyes are so he could just look? Yeah.
I didn't even know a chainsaw helmet was a thing.
Oh, I've got one. Yeah, I must wear it one night for a live stream.
As well as is that in the same cupboard as all your police hats?
The police hats and submarine hats and things like that.
Welcome to not Star Wars again.
Yeah,
we're done.
Yeah, welcome to Enigma. Adam, it's 10 minutes getting the PC running, and another 5 minutes with passwords. But he's here. Welcome.
Yeah, who's that?
It's Enigma. That guy called Adam. Adam.
That American.
Adam American.
No, we love you, really, Adam. We love you, Adam. You know that.
Tony Back said, "Halib Orange." That's them. That's a tube that was became a compass binnacle on top of my my model.
Halib Orange. My God, there's a flashback. I'm getting flashback to those 80s adverts.
So, yeah, that model now sits in an office, a corporate office, somewhere in a glass case, so that everybody looking at it and admiring it, hopefully, won't know that the compass binnacle is a Halib Orange tube.
only you, me, and most of the internet now know that, Ted.
Yeah.
I just need to clear my throat. Give me a
yeah, so, right, Star Wars. I'm losing the chat because it moves too quickly and I can't keep up with it.
Is it getting past your old man eyes there, Ted? I've got the wrong glasses on because I wear my other glasses for reading, but I look like a complete spoon when I wear them, so I have normal glasses, but then I can't quite read the comments.
Scott Sutherland said he went on a puffin hunt for fox today and he didn't see any on the cliffs.
For those who don't know, Scott lives in Orkney.
Yep.
And he delights in sending me pictures of puffins because puffins are cool.
It must be great when the ship. It must be great at Christmas when the ship comes in. It's full of. You can see all your presents getting pulled off on the ship and on the ferry.
Well, you can probably for a while you can see them all going from side to side as the ferry's doing that.
Is it like the old black and white films? It's still all quaint up there, where everybody wanders down to the beach for the ferry coming in, and they all help
waving pitchforks and stuff.
Yeah, crates of whiskey coming off, like whiskey galore. That was that film.
Yeah. Although if you go in that traditionally, you'd also need somebody playing a fiddle.
Right. TK says I've got to scroll up and answer his question.
We both got to scroll up. TK.
TK. Does Ted know who Axl Rose is? We answered it.
Yeah, we answered that. Pay attention,
Is he
007.
not listening?
Wow, he's just not listening, is he? There's only 2 people to listen to and you missed it. Come on, 007, pay attention. Muffin's tasty, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I find they don't quite equate to Swan. Swan's much nicer. But however, Eagle's even better.
Yeah.
Eagle tastes better than Swan.
Because when you eat an eagle, if you're an American, you're eating freedom. And the best way to become free is to ingest freedoms. There, go out and eat eagles.
Alan Kelly says further up. Hang on. We'll get to the
Further up.
Further up.
This requires scrolling and looking and reading.
Scrolling. Just to we've answered it.
Can you just ask the question again? Is that? Oh, he says, is it? No, that's not him.
Actually, has a decal question. I think I found it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, TK says he has a decal question.
Oh, yes. I noticed you said decal there first, and you're correcting yourself now. Good man.
Decal. Is there anything stronger than Microsol to help decals go into deep ridges?
Yes.
Do you think so?
There is one product that apparently is stronger. But I don't know if you can get it. I was going to say in the UK, but of course TK's in the Netherlands, so you probably can. Then again, no, if you're in the Netherlands, TK, of course, you can't get most of the stuff that we use, but you might be able to get it. It's a product called Solvaset. Solvaset. Will Pattinson uses it and talks about it quite a lot. It's quite common in the US. I don't know about outside the US, but Solvaset is like an even stronger version of Micro Sol or Set, or whichever one it is. Micro Sol. It's even stronger, so it does a bit better, but it also can, remove paint and stuff. So you have to use it cautiously. But have a look for Solvaset.
Well, I think I've heard of it. I've not seen it around. I've not seen anybody selling it, but you probably get it on eBay somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if now I know eModels sell Mr. Hobby colours. I don't know if they have in stock Mr. Mark Softer and Mr. Mark Setter, because they're again the same kind of things, a setting and a softening solution. I don't know if they're stronger. They are apparently very good. Gundam builders will know them very well. In fact, shall I have a look while you
Yep. Go on.
Talk?
Yeah.
If you've got Mr. Hobby, they might have them. If not, they can probably get them if you need them.
Yeah. Drop the guys a line. As I say, as we've always said, if you ever need to contact eModels, best not to phone them because those guys are running around non-stop daily sending out orders. But go to the webpage. On the webpage, you'll find a contact us link. Go to that and it'll bring up a contact form. You put your name and your address at the top of it and a contact detail, what you're asking at the bottom. They usually get back to you within the same day. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're not there all the time because they've got to sleep and go.
I shall type the answer into the chat for everybody. Yes, they do have Mr. Mark Setter and Mr. Mark Softer are in stock at the moment. I don't know if they're stronger. They might be. They are very good, apparently. They're very, very good. And they come with a little brush. I'll type in the answers in the chat for everybody. Solvaset. Now I can't put a link in the chat because it doesn't allow links, and also I can't copy a link from a PC onto my iPad. Yeah, so.
Tony, excuse me. Tony Black says Microset smells of vinegar, and has anybody ever tried vinegar? There are quite a few things that smell of vinegar. One thing that immediately springs to mind is photography sort of chemicals. I remember from my days at school, there is a chemical makeup of them. A lot of things smell of vinegar, but are not actually vinegar. And I wouldn't have thought vinegar would actually do anything, just straight vinegar.
I knew someone that smelled like vinegar, but I'm pretty sure they weren't made of vinegar.
Mm.
So you are right. That was back in my school days.
Yeah, I can't think what it was. It used to be some fixative or something for photography papers that used to smell. That might be the stuff. That might be the stuff that you need, because I'm sure all these manufacturers are not actually producing the chemical themselves with huge vats of the stuff outside in the backyard. They'll be buying it in from somewhere.
HG Barnes says that Microset has trichlorotrifluethen in it. was
Right.
trying to be clever there and hoping to pronounce it really quickly and get it right, and I just made an idiot of myself.
Whenever there's any of these chemicals come up, you can never pronounce them. It's like drugs, prescription.
I can say deoxyribonucleic acid, no problem.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Can you spell it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, yes, I can't think of it. Right, I'm here in this little chat window now because it's got me a chat window and I don't want the chat window. Get off. There we go.
There we are. Right.
Actually, type things in the comments. How cool is that?
Oh,
So yes, I don't know if Mr. Mark Setter and Softer are actually stronger. They may be. They're probably worth checking out because the Mr. Hobby products are very, very good.
Yeah, I've got some Mr. Hobby paints on order at the moment. In fact, I received an email from Gav, I think it was yesterday or today, to say my next order from eModels is winging its way towards to me.
You have things on the way.
Yeah, I would have thought it would have arrived today, but it's bank holiday. If anybody's from out of town, it's bank holiday here in the UK. Everybody's on holiday and nothing.
Oh, Ted, you've gone again.
I look forward to receiving that from the postman tomorrow. Some new colours for the U-boat.
You hung there for a second, Ted, so we didn't get what you were waiting for.
I don't know why it's doing that tonight.
It's your lad downloading movies again, probably.
Yeah. I'm waiting for a parcel to arrive from eModels. As I say, the whole world shuts down today because it's a bank holiday.
Yes.
It's been here today, but no doubt the postman will be knocking on the door tomorrow.
For those of you outside the UK, it's been a 4-day weekend.
Mm.
And I was saying to Ted earlier on, I actually went to bed last night and I thought, yes, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. And then I was like, wait, I don't go to work. Oh well, it still feels great not to have to go to work tomorrow.
Did you give yourself the day off?
I did. Well, no, I actually finished the next video for eModels. The next transit build has been mailed off to eModels but an hour ago. So I finished that off and then I played some Destiny as a reward.
Oh, well, we look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Is this part 4?
6.
6. Six.
Yes.
What do you do in this one then?
In the latest video, somehow I've managed to completely build and paint and weather the truck in 6 episodes. I'm quite pleased with that. I'll show you. Ta-da.
Ooh.
You can't really see on this crappy webcam, but the wing mirrors and the wipers haven't got on yet. But other than that, everything is on there. Apologies if it's not in focus, but I can't focus the camera. It's all on there. So this is the truck part is now done. In this episode, I show I gave it a coat of some engine grime, airbrushed on, and on the clear part on the window as well. And I show how I got that kind of grunge around the window. I show weathering underneath using pigments and some pigment fixer. I show a casualty because that bit snapped. The wheel turny bar trunnion thing, what's it called, Ted? The thing with the turning and then making the wheels be the
it's completely slipped out of me. The steering rack or anything like that, or something like that?
I like the word trunnion. I don't know what that means.
Steering thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the parametric fan that snapped. But I don't know if that's me being heavy-handed or if that's just I put too much.
Well, you see that's
setting.
Yeah, that's why the guy in the diorama is flogging it. You see, because it's going to cost too much to repair, so it's spares a repair, or he's just going to botch it and flog it on. Yeah,
botch it and sell it. Got the tyres on. That was a bit nerve-wracking because I should have put them on before I built everything else. And I show our mark on the tyres because they come from a second-hand tyre shop. The idea is that the people that sold the tyres write on the tyre in wax pencil so they know which tyre it is when it's on the rack. So I made sure I wrote on all the tyres 18514, which is the right tyre for a camper van transit. There you go. And I also show how I got the effect of, like, I don't know if it'll come out on camera, but on the back you have like all the dirt and grime, but then there's a clean bit where all the hands go when they open the boot. So you get all the clean bits where the fingers have wiped all the grime off, same on the side door there. So if you see like I put a picture in the video of the back of a van that I was driving behind. It's like filthy black nastiness on the back, apart from these little handprints all over the back where the door handles are. So, and I show how you can very easily do that with ammo engine grime. It's wonderful stuff. It looks just like the crap you get up the side of a white van. It's perfect. So I did that in that video and set that off today. And then the next one when that comes through at some point, that will be starting on the diorama then,
Ah,
which will involve a trolley jack.
we look forward to it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm having a real good time with it. The one thing I would say, if you're building this, and I say this in the video, but I'll say it just in case you don't get a chance to watch it. First thing you have to do is make sure you put the floor pan in before you put the bumpers on, because there are pegs that stick out over the floor pan when you put the bumpers in. You don't do that, you're screwed. And also, don't do like me, put the lights on the grill before you build the grill, because I had to cut the tabs off these and glue them in, because once the grill's in there, you can't push the lights in. It's such a tight fit. You just push the grill in. So put the lights in the grill before you install the grill.
Yeah, that's pretty good. From what looked to be a bog standard Italieri gas fan, it's turned out it's something quite good. When it's still not finished yet, because it'll go on to the diorama, and then there's still more bits to add.
I mean, I think I could have done better on the shark mouth, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's all right. As long as, that's the main modeling, isn't it? As long as you're happy with what you're doing, it doesn't matter.
But the best thing is, in the episode, I've tried to show that, because it's just all the weathering, apart from the rust chipping, all the weathering's been done in one episode, and it's like 4 things. So I've tried to show that you can get really good weathering effects on a vehicle without using 400 different products and without spending weeks and weeks doing streaks and chips and this and that. And I just use some really simple, quick airbrush. There's a quick airbrush procedure. There's a quick pigment procedure, and a dot filter. I also say how to dot filtering, by the way. That's the thing I forgot to mention. It's had a dot filter. So you can get some excellent weathering effects in easy steps. Rather than spending weeks and weeks doing lots of different things, you don't have to. You can just do a couple of things, and it can look fantastic. Depends what effect you want, basically. But I tried to show it being a simple thing. Like me, I'm a simple thing.
Well, I'm just in the middle of my video at the moment. I've released the last video, part 3. I've started filming part 4, but as I say, I'm just waiting for that parcel to arrive, then I get back onto it. So it's good. And on about deliveries from eModels, where was he?
Scott Sutherland says it's a track rod end, by the way.
We'll go with that. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, somebody did ask, and I'll ask in a second. Tony Black says it should have a different colour door somewhere. Yes, it should have. I was going to do a different colour door, but then I went for the shark mouth look because it's supposed to look like my car. It was going to be like a colour with a red door. And somebody did ask earlier on if you actually found out what that thing on your U-boat was, the mystery T-urn.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about it. Right, yeah, I think from what I've had looking at the instructions, from what I've been looking around the internet, I think it is something. I didn't believe it at first, but I think that people who said that it's part of the attack periscope may actually be right.
I don't believe it. No, I do.
I think it's actually. I thought it was actually too big, but looking at the positioning of it, and looking that it goes through the hull, I think the props could be right. I've still a little bit of research to go on. Just to find out before I'm sure we'll find a definitive answer, but that is probably where it's going to be out of the attack periscope. But that's there.
So it's not a T-urn then.
It's not a T-urn. It's not a whiskey still. So yeah, I think it's probably something to do with that. I think anything that's probably going to function around, going to be functional around the submarine, such as supplying air conditioning, heat, water, or anything like that, will be in the engine room or will be at the back of the ship, and not particularly in the control room. So those that are talking about something to do with the periscope and leaning towards that direction, I'm probably going to be inclined to go along with them now. I did think it was a little bit big, but yeah, we will find out. But that's going to. Scott, that's going back a moment. That was the comment I was going to point out to Scott Sutherland. Says that eModel service is great. He gets his orders next day to Orkney.
I was going to point that out. That's like, wow, really? That is really impressive. Bearing in mind, Orkney is like thousands of miles from the UK, from the mainland coast. It's like a million miles to sea, and they only get a boat once every 6 months. So, other
I
than
think
that, so
I think that Gavin's going to be pretty quick on that bike to get up to Orkney and get it on the boat.
bike.
And it's all uphill to Orkney as well.
Did he have to provide his own bike then, or I thought you walked? I thought you ran.
Yeah, take that to Orkney and be back by dinner time.
Oh,
Oh.
you'd be like, oh no. There was something I wanted to point out.
Right.
There was something else, but I've lost the comment now.
Fine. Right, let's move on to a couple of questions.
Oh yes.
Yes, we do have some questions that have come in. Alan Kelly. There he is, Alan Kelly. Right, he says it's Monday, so here is his question. Yep, thank you, Alan. There's a huge amount of glues on the market. Which one do I and Foxx recommend, and for what reasons? I'll probably start on this one. Depends what you want to do with it, as to what different glue you want. The usual sort of everyday plastic to plastic, I just go with the Tamiya Extra Thin. There is now available as well a Tamiya Extra Thin Extra Quick. I haven't actually used it myself, but I believe it is out there. And that's usually just for putting your two pieces of plastic together and then just running it round and using the capillary action to get it into. But I still have around here somewhere a tube of glue. Yeah, even a squashy tube. It's all dried up, like you used to have it with a kid. Put the top back on. You remember when you used to get them tubes of glue and you sealed them by putting a pin in them?
Oh God, yeah. I can't believe you've got so I'm just writing a comment in the chat. I can't believe you've got a tube of glue.
I've got a tube of
glue.
Is
that even legal anymore? I don't even know if that's...
I've got a tube of glue kicking around here somewhere. But I do also have, is this the Revell one?
That's Revell Contactor, that.
That's a Revell Contactor, yeah. I've got some of that, and it's pretty good. It's pretty precise. I can't get the lid off it now.
Hey.
That's how long I've used it. Oh, yeah.
Glue storage tips.
Yeah, the pin stuck in there. That's how much
I have that. If eventually with those, if you have them for long enough, the pin just goes beep, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it just happened.
If you don't look after it and you gunk it up enough, it just pulls the pin out. They are really good though, because they have the little pin. So if you've not got, for example, if you're like I would agree, I've got the Tamiya Extra Thin, which is brilliant for slapping two things together and run the glue along the joints so they go in. It's fantastic glue. If you've got two big flat surfaces though, say it's two big components, if I was gluing, I don't know, if I was gluing that to that, then I could run some Extra Thin in there, but they'd be big and heavy parts. So what you might do is use something like either the Tamiya normal glue or that Revell Contactor with this little tube.
That's exactly why I've got this. That's for what I use that for.
So you put your little bead of glue in there, and then there you go. And like I say, I may rib on Revell, but things like glues and stuff and decals, they do really well. And I'll actually add to that is another Revell Contactor, which is the Contactor Clear Glue. And I mentioned this in the latest transit video. It's basically what's also known as a canopy glue. And basically it's a glue that it doesn't melt the plastic. It's not a welding glue. It's like PVA, like craft glue, or what the Americans call Elmer's glue. It's like that stuff you can put on there. When it dries, you can peel it off. It's really quite good bond, but if you need to pull the part off, you can do. And that's why it's called canopy glue, because it's perfect for putting canopies on aircraft. If you want to put the canopy on temporarily, you can, just put it on and take it off. I recommend that, the Contactor glue. You can get, like craft store white PVA glue or Elmer's glue. But this is kind of a little bit stronger, and again it comes with a brush. However, the brush is kind of huge, so you might want to use a different brush. Just use an old brush, don't use a good brush, because it will ruin your brush. And I've had that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and when I first came to open it, I haven't used it since I did the Colonial Viper 3 model. When I came to take the lid off, I couldn't get the lid off, and when I got it off, it was all gunked up inside. So all I did was I got a knife blade, pinged it, and peeled the glue out. It was so satisfying. Like, this big clod of glue. It's like the stuff you used to use at school when you get it on your hands and peel it off. It's that. So your Revell Contactor Clear Glue. or canopy glue is really good. The only other real glue you probably need at some point will be cyanoacrylate glue, which is CA glue or super glue. And there's no real good or bad with super glue. They're all kind of very similar. But I know eModels do have a few in stock. I don't know if they have the Rocket stuff, but there's a few different brands they have in stock. And for model making, you're looking at there's thin, medium, and thick. And the differences are that the thin ones dry really, really quick, like in 5 seconds. And the thin one, the thick ones dry in about 30 seconds, or a bit slower, so you've got some wiggle time. However, I probably wouldn't recommend using CA glue ever unless you're making a resin kit. Because CA glue is really good, but it's really messy to work with, and over time it can shatter. It doesn't take torsional stress very well. If I glue two things together, super glue, and drop it, it'll shatter and they'll fall apart. Use plastic welding glue, they'll stay together. So CA glue is great, but only really where you're trying to glue something that's not plastic to something that isn't plastic, like metal to plastic you do with the super glue, because you can't really use much else. Can't think of any other glues really. There's epoxy glues, which are handy.
Yeah, they're good strength glues, those, or repairing resin. Sometimes some of the epoxy glues you can actually carve once they're dry, which is what Milliput
that's epoxy filler, isn't it? Epoxy glues are good for people that do things like if they're building, say, an aircraft, and inside they want to put like a threaded nut, because the rod on the. Sometimes when you make a display stand for an airplane, you'll have a piece of, say, steel, you'll put a thread on it and have a nut inside the model that you'll screw in. You can glue that nut in with epoxy cement, and it dries rock hard, and you just coat it in it. So it's often useful for things like that, and filling in seams inside where you want to have strength.
Yeah, and TK's mentioned there about gluing canopies. A canopy glue is often quite good.
That's basically what that is.
That's that. Yeah.
Basically, canopy glues are PVA glue.
Yeah.
The one thing about CA glue that I forgot to mention, they all say on them it dries clear. It never dries clear. Every time I've used CA glue, it dries frosty and powdery. So I don't use it. If I can avoid it, I don't use it.
Yeah, and CA glue will also fog your canopies. So don't use that. CA glue is actually what forensic teams use for lifting fingerprints off sort of glass. They could use it on glass, but plastics. They can lift fingerprints off plastics by using the vapor of super glue. That's how it's done. So that's why it fogs your canopies. If you want to know that.
Yeah. But for clear parts, don't use anything apart from either PVA craft glue or clear canopy glue. But this contactor clear. So I may rag on Revell, but this is actually a really, really good canopy glue. I do like their cements and glues. They are really good.
Ron Max says, "Can you still get Yoo-Hoo glue?" Remember Yoo-Hoo?
Yes. Yeah, you can. Yeah, go to my local. I won't mention the name. My local store that sells hobby-based items, perhaps craft items. They usually have tubes of Yoo-Hoo glue, things like that. There's one other glue you might want if you can't get an epoxy glue. Your local DIY store or craft store or even eModels, I don't know if they have them. You often see like a tube of it'll be like all-purpose glue. It'll just say all-purpose glue in a tube. They're sometimes quite good. They're kind of like epoxy glues. They're fairly generic, but they can be quite good sometimes for gluing a bolt to a piece of wood or something like that for a display base, whatever you're doing. So it's useful to have one in your arsenal, but they smell really bad and they make you go.
I sometimes use some PVA glue just for test building. I will put things together with just PVA glue because once you can take it apart again, see how it goes together. Even paint it, then take it apart, and then do what you're going to do with it and put it back together like that. That's one way of using PVA glue, and even super glue. Just a touch of super glue because you can fracture it again, it'll go apart.
I mean, I used that contactor clear that was basically PVA glue to put all the lights on, because I'm an idiot and I did all the painting and then realised I hadn't put the lights on. I didn't want to use any kind of normal plastic cements or welding cements because it would ruin the paint job. So I just put a dot of PVA on there, pushed it in place, half an hour, it's set. I could pull it off if I wanted to, but if I don't, it won't fall off and it'll stay there forever. So, but they're also handy if you want to glue a thing to another thing that's already been painted. PVA is a good idea, because if you get it wrong, you just pull it off, let it dry, and peel the glue off. No damage done. So there you go.
eModels have a whole section on glues and paints, and if you're really getting stuck and wondering what glue that you should be using for this, just drop me an email, ted@emodels.co.uk, or contact eModels on the contact form, and they'll send me your question across, and I'll have a look at it.
I've even used Pritt stick before now on a model.
Yeah, if it works, yeah.
I think I used it to glue a flag on a U-boat. It was a cloth flag, and I used it to kind of fold it together and glue it because I didn't have anything else at the time. And I'm sure by now the guy that commissioned the U-boat, the flag's probably gone like that. But if you are getting stuck and you're wondering what glue to use for what particular product, drop us a line and we'll see what we can do to fit you. Yeah.
Right, the next question.
TK does mention micro weld as good for gluing canopies, but I'm not familiar with micro weld.
No, I can't say I've heard of that one.
No, I've heard of it. I've just never used it.
No, I don't know. A lot of these named products, they all have different names, but basically it's the same stuff in the bottle.
There is one other thing as well that it's worth mentioning, and you don't really see it much in the UK at all. But it's quite common around in the States and Asian markets and things, is glues based on MEK or methyl ethyl ketone, I think, or something like that. I could have got that wrong.
MEK.
Yeah, if I've got it right, that's really, really cool.
Yes,
methyl ethyl ketone or something like that. They're apparently very, very powerful sort of plastic welding cements. They are, but they'll also eat your model alive, and the vapors are highly toxic. So you can. A lot of people say you have to use an MEK glue. You don't. I wouldn't bother. Get yourself some. It's similar to Tamiya Extra Thin. It's a plastic welding glue. It melts the plastic and weld it together. So if you hear somebody raging on about an MEK, don't bother. Yeah. It's hardcore stuff, and the vapors will make you go loopy and you get headaches.
Yeah. Dangerous. I've used it before, and it comes in a bottle, something like that, and it's not cheap, but you'll find that you'll get a bottle like that, which is something like, I don't know, it doesn't say how much is in here, 50 mil, 100 mil in that bottle there. You can get it brand new, put it on your bench, do your gluing with it, go to bed, come back in the morning, you've left your top off and it's gone.
Yep.
It will just disappear overnight. So I think that's why it's so strong for melding. It's brilliant stuff for gluing. I used to use it. I used to use quite a lot of it.
Well, sorry Ted to interrupt you. While I think on, just while I remember, you've got your Tamiya Extra Thin, which is green. I haven't got them to hand now, but there's Tamiya Normal, which is thick. There's also two others. There's ABS glue, which has a blue top, which is really hard to get hold of. But if your model has ABS, for example, if you're building, say, the DeAgostini Millennium Falcon, ABS plastic doesn't always have a lot of polystyrene, so this might not work. So if your model has ABS parts you need to glue, make sure you get a glue that does ABS. And Tamiya do the blue top ABS glue, which is very, very good. And they do a yellow top one, which is like a citrus smell. I can't remember what that's for, and it's quite hard to get hold of. So I don't think eModels stock the blue ABS glue. Not a lot of places actually sell it. It took me about 2 years to find a bottle of it. So
another thing, just going back to super glues, you've got your three different types: your thick, your thin, and your extra and your thin. You can use a kicker, which will, if you're struggling to get your glue to go off, you just give it a short kicker, what they call kicker. Well, I call it kicker. I don't know what the technical term is.
It's called the kicker.
Yeah,
or an accelerator.
And it will just set straight away.
Yeah. Do be aware though that can affect certain paint finishes. It can knacker your paint finish.
It's sometimes moisture. The reason your fingers glue together immediately with super glue is because it's activated by moisture. So even just sometimes breathing on your super glue, just breathing on it will activate it.
Now, if Tony was here, he would tell us how super glue is actually designed to fill wounds. A quick way of filling a wound on because he was a medic in the army. Tell you how you pour it into a wound and it seals it and it breaks down.
I understand. I believe that's why super glue was invented.
Yeah, apparently that's what it's for. But it does break down. That's the downside. If you've I always tell the joke because it's not designed to be. It's got a massive grip, but it will break down over time. And there's the old joke about you go to your local boating pond and you see all the remote control boats going around the boating pond, and it's all fun and games till somebody's like steamboat with 4 stacks dinks into the side, and all the stacks that held on with super glue just go plink and fall off, because it does break down over time. So that's why I don't build resin kits, because I don't trust that at some point they're not just going to fall apart.
Right, I think that's good enough coverage of glue for this evening.
Yeah. Oh, Piddlehead says that Kicker also generates heat. So
yeah, it does.
But yeah, more often than not, it will completely nack your paint finish. So I just don't use super glue. If you're making a plastic model, there's no reason to use super glue at all ever.
Yeah, photo etch parts can be glued on with PVA glue.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, the next question. Oh, I've just lost it again. Hang on, come back.
Scott does confirm, yes, super glue is invented for sealing wounds. The Orc Boy says, yes, he had to get his blue ABS Tamiya glue from Japan. I think I did in the end as well. Leaving there, and I found, like, after a year of searching, I found one store that was selling, and it had 3 bottles of it, and that was it. So I bought 2, obviously, because I had that whole D'Agostini Falcon. But if you're building the D'Agostini Falcon, you might want to try and get some. Bandai kits will always tell you on their instructions if some of the parts are made of ABS. Not all kits do that.
Right, another question from Arthur Miller. He says, unfortunately, he can't always join us on the live show. He's watched it since the first show, and it's highly entertaining. But
isn't Arthur Miller a comedian from way back when, over the garden fence and all that?
Yeah, that was Arthur Askey.
That was Arthur Askey. There you go. My apologies, Arthur.
Yeah. Oh, it could be wrong.
We usually are.
We usually are. But he watches it later on. So this is a shout out for Arthur Miller. Welcome, although you're late. Where have you been? Yes. But welcome anyway.
I expect a letter from your mum next time saying, why are you going to be late?
Yeah, why are you going to be late?
Otherwise, you're doing the gym in your underwear again.
Yeah. Recently, he's bought some artist's oils and was wondering what is the best ratio to oils to thinners to make a wash or a panel line accentuator, and also do different oils have different properties, and if so, what's the best oils to use? There's a couple of questions in that, and we'll start with the first one. What ratio oils to thinners for making panel line washes? What I normally say is that when you're doing panel line washes, things like that, you want coloured thinner rather than thinned colour. If you do, could you understand that, Fox?
Yes, I don't understand much, but that one made sense to me.
Yeah, what you're looking to do is just start with your thinner and add the colour to it, rather than the other way around. And once you get it, it doesn't even have to be the thickness of ink, but yeah, that's really the easiest way. There isn't a ratio.
No, there's no magic formula. I mean, what I'll do is go to your local. If you've got one of those shops like sandal wearing, tree hugging hippie shops that sells like wind catchers and candles and things like that, get yourself some tea lights that come in the little glass thing. Throw the tea light away because you're not a hippie, and we don't have power cuts. It's not the 1970s. And I use these for mixing all my washes and things. And I typically put maybe about, I don't know, what's that, about ½ centimetre of thinner. And then I might put 1 or 2 brushfuls of oil paint in there. But it depends on what you want. It depends on the oil paint as well. There's no, like with any mixture ratio, there's no real such thing as a correct ratio. Like Ted says, about the consistency of ink's probably actually about right. But the beauty of it is, if you don't worry about it too much, because if you mix it all up and it's nice and you get the right colour, and then you start doing your pin wash, and then when it dries, it looks too faint, just go over it again. That's the beauty of oils and enamels, is you can just go over it again. It's not a problem. But yeah, you just want, like Ted says, you want to colour the thinner, not thin the colour. So a brushful, maybe 1 or 2 brushfuls in a couple of millimeters of thinner. You'll get the hang of it. Don't worry. And if you do go a bit wrong and it's a bit too thick, just get it off, clean it off, start again.
Yeah. The second part of his question is, do different oils have different properties? And if so, what's the best oil to use? Yeah, you'll find a range of oils out there, from cheapo artist oils
Pound
through
shop
to
jobs.
yeah, your pound shop jobs, through to your Winsor and Newtons, which are artist oils, through to your specific oils like the Ab to Lung range. And really, it's the degree of pigment within those oils. The thinner the pigment, the better the oil paint, really. And that's basically it in a nutshell. If you can get the best you can afford, always get the best of anything you can afford, be it a paintbrush or an oil paint or acrylic paint, anything like that. But that's basically it.
I mean, ultimately, with everything we do, you don't always have to buy the most expensive thing. Sometimes the cheapest stuff is always just as good as the best stuff. Just, you might have to work a bit harder. With oil paints, yeah, you can go to your local pound shop and find a pack of 20 paints. In that situation, I would say don't touch them with the barge pole, because they generally are terrible. If you're paying like £1 or a few quid for a pack of 10 paints, yeah, you don't want to, because they're just not worth it, because they would be terrible. But any artist oil paints you get from the art store, hobby craft store type places, they're fine. You don't have to spend a fortune. The only big difference between, say, artist oil paints and MIG 502 Abteilung oil paints, which are the ones for model making, MIG tend to have a much finer pigment than artist oil paints, so they're much smoother, but they also seem to have a slightly different carrier. The artist oil paints can often be linseed based or that kind of thing, whereas MIG paints are much drier. So if you're using artist oil paints and not, say, MIG 502 oil paints, put your oil paints on a piece of card or paper or something porous, put your blob of paint on there and give it half an hour just to let some of the excess oils leach out, because artist oil paints will be wetter and they'll take a little bit longer to dry. MIG paints, you can do that as well, and you get some oil leaking out. There is a name for, there's two different types of oil paints, and I can't remember what they are. There's the ones based on linseed, and there's another type, which I think the MIG ones are, and they're not quite as oily, and there's a name for it, and I can't remember. Somebody in the comments remind me.
Yeah, all boy says the same as you. Ab to Lung, they are less oily. Yeah,
but they're designed specifically for model making, so they know that people will do, for example, dry brushing with them. So they want them to be less oily and less gunky. So you will get a faster drying time with the MIG 502, but you can get the same amount of artist oils. But with oils, it doesn't matter. You know me, I love my Starship Filth, but if you can't get Starship Filth for any reason, you can make your own from either burnt umber or burnt sienna and a bit of Payne's Grey from artist oils, and make your own colours. Just remember to leach the oils out on a bit of card first, just for half an hour. Just gives you something to work with. But they can be a little bit more grainy. So there you go. Right, but don't go for the pound shop pack of 10 for £2.99. They're just just don't go bother with those.
Yeah, leave it for the kids to play with, and So.
I got a set of brushes from like a pound shop once with like 30 brushes. I'm like, wow, for £1, brilliant. Yeah, they were just rock hard. They didn't even go into bristles. They just went snap. Wow, it's a waste of time. So they make good stirring sticks.
Yeah. TK says there's also water-based oil paints.
Yes, I've not tried any, but they are actually water-based oil paints. I've never tried them, but apparently they're quite good. They dry quite quickly.
Yeah, maybe
you can do gut washes and things.
Maybe the artist's version of acrylics or something like that. I don't
No,
know.
apparently they are oil paints. They're just water-based. I've looked into them a little bit, and they do seem really good. But how bizarre! You can thin them with water.
Oh, well. Anyway, that's the questions that we have for tonight. But remember, folks, if you do have any questions that you want asking or answering in the chat on a Monday night, just send them along to us at eModels, ted@emodels.co.uk.
Yep.
And we'll include them. Yeah. Anyway, talking about eModels, shall we time to go and have a look in the shop?
Oh yes, let's go see what treats and delights we have.
Right.
What's the good doctor's magic bag today?
We'll share the screen, and what I'll do, I'll freeze it on me. Then hopefully you can chat away. Chat away, Fox, so I can see if it's moved. Right, it's not going over. So hopefully you can chat away in the background, and it won't keep flicking across to you. So
I'll have to sit and look at me while I'm talking.
We'll go here. A couple of things in the shop that are new in this week. One or two. There's a couple of new things and a couple of things that have been there for a while. Weathering.
Mess.
Yes, mess. And this is about weathering with pigments. A lot of people are a bit dubious about working with pigments. You know, what are pigments and what do they do? How do we use them? And here's the book by the guys that do it, Amo of MIG, that are going to tell you how to do it, and it's all in there.
If you've never used pigments before, if you've used Tamiya weathering pastels, they're the same thing. They're just dry, whereas Tamiya weathering pastels are kind of slightly sticky and like makeup pastels. These are they're basically like, imagine your paint, but take all the liquid out and it's just dry powder. They are brilliant. In the latest transit video, I use Amo's Dark Earth. And if you just apply that all over your model and just really brush it on, it looks like soil. The only sad bit is when you have to then put a fixer on it and it stops looking like soil. And you're like, oh, because when it's just laid on a surface and dry, it looks like, I love it, soil. But with pigments, you have to fix them in place. They won't stick to the surface like Tamiya pastels. But they are brilliant. If you've never used them, you should try using them. They are fantastic.
And particularly the MIG pigments, people say, well, you can use your own using pastels, grounding pastels and things like that down. The thing is with MIG, particularly the MIG pigments, is when you've put your fixer on, when the fixer dries out, they're back to the original colour. The tone or anything doesn't change. So what you put on is what you get at the end. It does what it says on the tin, I suppose.
The other difference as well between those and say artist pastels is, artist pastels tend to be chalk, but with these weathering pigments, because it's basically just dry paint, you can put some into, say, thinner, water, any kind of thinners. If you've got like a glaze or a medium, which is paint without any color in it, you can make your own washes with them. You can use them to make colors as well as just as powders. You can make washes and tints and things out of them, and glazes, because you can add a little bit of powder. On the Transit, what I did was, to make mud in the wheel arch, I painted the area in matte varnish with a brush and then applied the pigments, and it all goes on lumpy and stays lumpy. So you can do a lot with these pigments. There's a lot of things you can do. Yeah,
and just by building it up, you can build textures and everything. It's just
some people mix plaster into them to make thick mud.
Yeah,
you can put a lot of these pigments. It's just powdered colour. Think of it that way.
And that's And for a magazine is a lot easier to read than on the internet. I do it myself. I read magazines on the internet, but it's not really as good as having the thing that you can flick backwards and forwards. The actual tactileness. It's a word. Well, it is now.
I mean, I learned that using, because I've got that ammo book, the In Combat Painting Mechas. And when I was painting my big mega size RX 78-2, of course, in that, Mickey Jimenez shows how he painted a smaller RX 78-2. And I just followed the steps, and it was brilliant because you've got all the steps laid out in MIG's sometimes quirky English, which is adorable, I have to say. Because he's not a native English speaker. He speaks English very well, but he gets it a little wrong sometimes, and it's kind of adorable. So it's very charming. But yeah, I followed the instructions I followed him doing it, and my big RX 78-2 came out looking brilliant.
That's it. The weathering magazine from MIG. I know. Right, this is the next one. And spaceships. Another MIG product delivered this week. They must have had a big box from MIG this week, and lots of stuff in it. The Ammo MIG spaceship sci-fi weathering set. Now
I learned something when I read when you showed me the description on this, because I didn't know.
New in, and look, we move down. This set contains a wash for details, eMig 10,009 Starship Wash.
Starship Wash, never heard of it. I need it.
Now, is that the wash version of the Starship Filth one?
Maybe, you never know. Starship Wash, but not just Starship Wash. If you go back down again, Ted, there's also Starship Streaking. And then my favourite name, it's getting almost Games Workshop there, Metal Slag. for their pigment.
So that's obviously a new product out from me. I've not seen that before at all. So brand new in store. These are live from eModels as such. So if it's on the web page, it's in stock. So if anybody's going to buy this, drop us a line and tell us what you think.
I've actually been having great fun with them since I started using the ammo stuff. using their weathering products, because a lot of them are enamel based, like the panel line washes and the streaking grimes and things. I've been having great fun using them because it's anything where you can put the paint on and then clean it off to get different effects. I've been loving it. I've been absolutely loving it.
Yeah, pretty good that. Oh, it'd be worth a try that. Oh, we'll skip across. I was going to go somewhere else first, but we'll skip across to this one because we just brought this up. This is the we all know what this is. Doesn't need any introduction at all. The Ab Tai Lung 502 Starship Filth.
It is the only paint in the world.
And it's not just for grubbing things up, as we talked about before. For panel art, you can water it down, sort of mix it up and water it down for your washes, panel line washes, everything.
And it's not just for starships. It is actually it's kind of a perfect neutral earthy dirt color. It works on just about anything. I've used it on so many different kinds of kits.
Yeah. I'm actually using it at the moment on the submarine, just for putting that grubbiness about in a submarine, because it's just the right color.
And if you the viewers who know me and my own channel, they'll know I'm all about gunk washes. When I do a gunk wash, it's with Starship Filth because it's the perfect color to do a gunk wash.
Yeah, and I'm using the Ab Tai Lung engine grease, which does look like engine grease.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's like a more reddy brown color, isn't it? More translucent.
Yeah. Brilliant.
A lot of people panic because this thing goes out of production all the time. It's in production. Don't worry. You don't need to buy 35 tubes of this. One of those tubes will last you years.
Yeah. And the price of it, $3.59 for a tube of that, and it just lasts ages. It lasts you forever, unless you're Foxx that uses it by the bucket load.
Yeah, but I have to admit I can't show it now. But I suppose I can. But I've got I've kind of got a bit of a stash on them. So yeah,
we'll have a look at that at the moment.
Yeah, I got mine in the days when they were out of production. It was rare. So Chris Williams says he bet it wouldn't work on Cowgirl.
Who would want? Wait, you could have grubby finger marks.
Let's just move on from that. I think we better just step away from that one. We'll keep that to the After Hours podcast.
Let's have a look at the model. This one, I found this one. This is in stock. New in stock. It's sci-fi.
Can we just make a little note here that Ted, you're actually doing a sci-fi thing?
It's a bit of a sci-fi theme tonight, isn't it? Starship,
allergic to sci-fi.
Starship Weather, and Ab Tai Lung Starship Filth, and now this one, Star Trek, the original series. Fox and I discussed this a little bit earlier, and we can't actually remember it. No. If there's any of you Star Trek buffs out there, can you remember the season, the episode "Tomorrow Is Yesterday"? Apparently, the Enterprise came back to 1996 and was tracked by a starfighter. But now AMT models are giving you the opportunity to build a starfighter, and also, if you scroll down a little bit, there's also in there a tiny little model of the Enterprise to give you a bit of a force perspective. Looks an ideal little.
I mean, I must admit, when Ted was showing me before we started streaming, Ted shows me what he's gonna showcase. And I'm like, why does it say Star Trek? It's a starfighter. And then I had to look at it a couple. I went, oh wait, there's an Enterprise. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
No memory of this episode. I mean, I know my original Star Trek, but yeah, that little tiny Enterprise would be great for little force perspective shots to get a close up of the starfighter, and in the background the Enterprise just flying off. And it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks fun for all you aircraft builders out there. You can build the starfighter, and then if you're a bit of a sci-fi buff as well, you can build the Enterprise to go along with it. Yeah. Brilliant.
They've got to tell you the old starfighter kits. If you look at the kind of planes that are around in it was 1966, by the way, Ted. Somebody said not 1996.
Sorry.
If you look at the fighter planes that are around in that era, the starfighters were kind of way out there futuristic for the 60s. They were pretty sci-fi for the day.
After this live stream, I'm going to have to go and Google that episode and see if I can find it.
He says it's when the Enterprise went back in time, and it was 1966, season 1. TK's model says ideal. I think because it's a plane and it's an Enterprise.
It's a plane, yeah. I think that's next on TK's list.
Yeah. Wait, it's a spaceship and a fighter plane.
And a fighter plane.
Yeah, but TK, bare metal. There's a challenge for you. That makes it difficult, so TK will buy it.
Right. Yeah, we talked about. I've lost that now. Never mind. We'll do that next time. Right. Bare metal. You know what I'm on about, Fox. So I've lost it. We'll do it next time. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyway, we've been on for a while now, and we haven't done any giveaways yet.
No.
Let's stop sharing the screen. I'll come back to you.
TK says Fox, all planes look like that. No. No, not in the 60s. Not in the 60s. Not as awesome as that.
Alan Kelly says the TRS-2 was more futuristic. No, I don't know. I know the TSR-2 came a bit later, but it was a bit cuboid, a bit cubic. Whatever. Never mind.
TK says bare metal eek.
Well, yeah, we'll have a go. Right, giveaway the eModels.
Yes, what's he going to give me, Ted? Have you taken me off Fox, by the way?
Yes, yeah, you can.
Yes.
Yeah, back now. Yeah. eModels, the eModels mug. If you want an eModels mug,
model it.
Right. We mentioned the U-boat, the bits and pieces of the U-boat. It's all there. I have found out this week that a Type 7C U-boat came to the UK and was used by the Royal Navy in the Second World War. You might need a little bit of Googling, fastest finger to Google. The ship was, I think it doesn't matter what the U-boat number was. What was what did the Royal Navy call it when they renamed it and put it into service of the Royal Navy? It was HMS something, obviously. So go.
TK says send TK a mug. Yay, I won.
Yeah, so if you know what the submarine was called, the captured U-boat, it was brought to Barrow. Yep, it was brought to my hometown. No, it wasn't called Swordfish, and nor was it called Bob. Whoever.
Well, given the Royal Mail. Whoa, I didn't do the Royal Mail name shit. The Royal Navy's naming thingy. Bob probably isn't that bizarre.
Yeah, no, Captain Scarlet. Yeah, it's going to need a little bit of search in this because I can't remember.
Some Googlage.
I can't remember what submarine.
Shall I give them a clue? It's a terrible name for any kind of vessel.
Yeah,
it's a really rubbish name.
I think there's somebody sitting in an office somewhere that dreams up names for the Royal Navy and just think that'd be a bit of a laugh. What ship did you serve on?
You might have stumped me, Ted.
Right.
Subby mix-up face.
Subby mix-up face. I will give it a few moments and then I will.
HMS TK's mug.
Does TK need a mug?
I think TK needs a mug. Boat face, HMS Boatman. No.
Right.
I don't think we're going to get this. I think you may have broken them. I think you may have broken the audience.
Right, I think we're giving it. I think we could be here on that. I'll give them a clue. I found out that the U-boat, when it was launched, was U570. Now, maybe if you Google U570.
There we go.
There we go. Might have it. Yeah. So who's going to win the mug? They've totally not taken this long. No.
What was it? U5 what?
U570. It had been launched as U570, a Class 7C. HMS. No, that's a bit rude, Alan. No, it's not that one.
There you go. I've just typed it in, and it's the first thing that came up on the Google search. So come on, chaps, get your Google tab open. Literally, I just typed in the U number, and it's the first thing. There we go.
There we go. Oh, yeah. Eric says, right up. Carl again. Looks like it's Carl. This one, a mug.
No, it's been quite a few weeks since he won last time, so I think we can.
Yeah.
You just put yourself out of focus there, Ted.
Well done. It was HMS Graf.
Yes. So well done, Carl.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Ted, you put yourself out of focus again, dear boy.
Yeah, that was.
You were in focus, then you.
I was in focus, and I've gone out again. There we go.
You touched it. I've told you, don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Keep your hands off it. Yeah.
Yes.
HMS Welly. HMS Welly Boot. I think we should have an HMS Welly Boot anyway. Just
Welly Boot, yeah. Chris Williams says, I got my mug, not playing anymore.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Carl says, next person, not me. Are you sure? Because we don't
sure?
mind. It's been a few weeks since you won the first time. So what did you get last time? A sticker or a mug?
He got the tank, didn't he?
Oh, oh yeah.
Right, let's have a look down then.
You're absolutely sure, Carl. It's entirely up to you.
It's very honourable of you, Carl.
Yeah.
If you send me, I tell you what, Carl. Have you got a sticker? Have you got any stickers? Did you say you got some stickers? I was going to send you a sticker. That's all I could. Right.
He says, yes, I got a big prize, says Carl. Yes. I'll send him a sticker.
Yeah. If he hasn't got a sticker.
Somebody else. Who came after Carl then? Who was the next one? Hang on.
Scott Sutherland says S graph. Yeah, we'll take that one. Yeah. Scott.
Was he the next one along, wasn't he?
Yeah, because the next one that.
Yeah, it was Scott. Scott in Orkney.
Scott in Orkney.
Well, so we'll get Gav to run all the way down to Orkney with your mug.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll give him a bite this time.
Yeah.
Across the ocean. But
you need to send me your address though, Scott, just so I can sort of send it across to them, because the guys don't always watch this and they may not remember. They get that many orders that they may not remember where you are in Orkney, although there can't be that many people in Orkney. They'd be the one with all the eModels boxes outside.
Adam, about half an hour later, says, the American is never getting a mug, graph. A few people say send one to TK. So we'll get the mug off to TK. Should we send Carl a sticker anyway? We may as well.
Yeah, let us know your address.
It's nice of him to say don't send it to me.
I know you sent me your address once before, Carl, but
send it again.
Send it again. Speaking of the sticker, well, I haven't got many stickers left.
How many have we got?
I've got 3 of them. Shall
I make up a question off the top of my head right now?
Yeah, you could try not to stump them. Don't take them as long to get the answer.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a sci-fi question because you know me and my sci-fi.
And we've had a bit of a sci-fi theme going tonight, haven't we?
So we'll give you an easy one. I've just got back into watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And it's brilliant. I've watched through all of them like twice. I've watched all 7 seasons twice. I'm on my 3rd go through.
Would that be DS9?
Knowing the words. Tedward. I'm going to actually make you watch DS9 at some point. It is the best Star Trek series by far. Anybody argues that, clearly an idiot. Anyway, moving on. We'll ask you a nice and easy question. After a few seasons, DS9 got its own little starship. What was the little starship called? Dead easy. It's a plucky little ship. Designed to fight the Dominion. Yes, Alan Kelly straight in with Defiant. There we go. Ted's.
I'm sorry, I'm just typing my address into the chat for Scott. ted@emodels.co.uk and make it.
Alan Kelly won the sticker with Defiant. So, Alan, if you can mail ted@emodels.co.uk with your address.
Yeah, well done, Alan.
And we'll send you an sticker.
And stick it, one of them, because I've got 2 more weeks left, and then what I'm going after 2 weeks.
Get more stickers. Pete, mate, if you're watching, can you send Ted a load of stickers, please?
Yeah, please.
Or Gav, mate, if you're watching, can you kick Pete, mate, and get him sent a load of stickers? Just get John to put something like
sorry about this. Sorry about this, Gav, mate, but you're back on your bike to Orkney.
Yeah. Then Alan Kelly would be like, I live in like Spain or somewhere. Gav would be like, woohoo!
Right. I think that's everything done tonight. Have we got any more questions before we go? I'm sure that there must be something bugging people's minds. I'm wondering what they could.
I know we had a lot of things in the boom hut that I was going to kind of commandeer as questions, but I can't remember any of them because I is special.
Yeah, I know that somebody asked about A20 thinner.
Oh yes,
X20s.
How long it was though?
How long do you use it before you chuck it away?
If somebody asked in the boom hut if you use thinner as a brush wash, how long do you use it for before it becomes death in a bottle and you have to throw it away? I've had that for about 4 years. I just keep topping it up. Tony Fairclough says he's had his for about 10 years. Basically never. Just keep topping it up. I've never thrown it away and I will. I'll keep topping it up basically until this tub becomes so brittle that it falls apart and I get covered in really messy thinner. It's fine. You don't need to worry about it.
Have you got a big, how deep's the sediment in the bottom? Perhaps that's when you stop using it, when the sediment, when you can't get your brush in the top anymore.
There's about that much in the bottom when I tilt it that just doesn't move when the rest of the liquid moves.
Yeah.
But I mean, theoretically, it's just you keep topping it up with, basically, if I've got another tub of thinner or anything like, I've got my UMP thinner, when that gets a bit low and I'm going to get some more, I'll just pour the excess in there and top it up. But I did put some isopropyl alcohol in there, and every time I use this, I'm like, ooh. So yeah, be careful.
Yeah. Tony Black says you throw it away when the brush comes out dirty, then it went in. That's probably a good idea.
Well, what I tend to do is get the brush in, give it a good scrubbage around, get it on the tissue and twist it and do that. And the first bit will be dirty, but then it's clean. I did learn a useful tip, actually. And I didn't know this. I've only been doing this for 35 years. When you've got a paintbrush, if your paintbrush comes with the little plastic thing on the thing for the tip, most of you, me included, will throw that bit away because you store it something like that in a cup or in a paintbrush rack or something like that. I learned this the other day, that when you have the little plastic tube, you should keep it. And when you store your paintbrush, store it that way up with the bristles sticking down. The plastic tube will stop it damaging the bristles because it's not touching the floor. But any water that's left in the bristles will drip down and won't. Basically, when you put your brush back in the rack, if it's got water on there or any kind of thinners, there'll be little bits of paint residue. And if you stand it the way you would normally stand it, they will eventually work their way down the ferrule and start to make the bristles pull apart like that as all the paint dries out. So over the years, it will feather out. So you're supposed to stack them bristles down if they've got a plastic tube. I didn't know that.
I've learned something as well this evening.
Yes, I thought I'd just share that with the audience, and then I realised I've just built my little paintbrush rack, which is designed to have them all standing the wrong way now.
I did hear a very similar thing about mixing paints and using brushes. Finding a brush myself, a cheapo pound brush from the pound shop for a box of 200 for £1.
Yeah, you can't beat them for like mixie brushes and stuff.
Yeah, mixing brushes. That's all I use them for. Yeah, but use them for mixing because if you use your good brushes for mixing, all the paint gets dragged down into the ferrule, and like Foxx was saying, that the I can't think.
Brain.
Our brain is just frozen. All the bristles will splay apart because paint once again gets drawn down into the ferrule. So when you are using your good brush, finding a good brush, if you can find one, which is stored upside down the wrong way. When you're using a good brush, that's not even a good brush, it's in the wrong pot. But when you're using a good brush, it's just put paint on the tip of your brush. Yep. So mix up using cheaper ones, get your good brush and just load at the top. That's another rubbish brush. Just load. They're all mixed up. I need to sort out. Yeah, just load at the tip of your brush so you're not forcing paint down into the ferrule.
Yeah, because if you imagine your bristles are there like that on the brush, if you've got your nice pointy brush, there's my pretend pointy brush. If I get paint between the bristles here, if I use my finger is paint, this is dried paint. See what happens when I try and get paint between the bristles.
Yeah.
And then your brush looks like that, and you can never get it back because you will never get that paint out. And that's why after 2 weeks of using an expensive brush like this, mixing your paint, your brush looks like that. So if you want to make sure your brushes have a consistent point, just never get paint more than halfway up.
Just looking through my paint brush stack there, I think most of them are like that now already. I'll have to.
Yeah. Well, I went to a certain retailer and bought their in-house brushes. Let's leave it at that. At great expense. I was like, brilliant. These are really good brushes. And within a week, I'm like, yeah, these are all screwed. That's not right.
Right.
TK does say, duh, rearranging all the brushes right now.
Right. Finally, a quick question from John Henley. Is a Revell Isetta bubble car? I remember them. Isetta bubble cars.
Yeah, bubble cars.
Yeah, those are the Messerschmitts and all the others. And I would like to make the chrome parts look more realistic. How would I go about it?
Nothing like a really complicated long answer to end the show with.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered this in the last.
No, you might not watch it.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
So, yeah, but strip it using oven cleaner. And then use anything, a 20 black laces, use bare metal foil, use any of the proprietary sort of paints, true metal oils from AK. They're excellent, brilliant them. And there's lots of Alfred's. I'll go see TK and ask him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest.
No.
If you wanted to get a chrome effect, like Ted says, strip the plating off first because that plating is gash. If you get it off when you cut it off the sprue, you'll have little marks that you can see the plastic. You'll never paint it the same. So strip it off. You can use oven cleaners. If you're in the UK, Oven Pride, get from Tesco's or Asda or somewhere, is brilliant. Takes all that plating off in about an hour. Just remember to wear gloves because it's horribly toxic. Don't get it on your skin. Don't get it in your eyes. And I learned, don't get it on the bathroom carpet because it will burn a hole in it. Yeah, we've got a brown hole in the bathroom carpet. So be careful with oven cleaners. Wear gloves. Wear something over your eyes. Don't breathe the fumes in. Just be super careful. It's horrible stuff. And when you paint it, if you're looking for a chrome effect, the only real way you're going to get close to a chrome effect is, like Tony said, bare metal foil, which is brilliant, but can be tricky because you're literally putting the special adhesive foil on. Or really, if you want proper reflective chrome, you're looking at things like Alclad. You've got Alclad, which are lacquer paints, so you'll need to make sure you use the relevant gloss primer, and then Alclad's Aqua Gloss Clear is the lacquer that goes over it. Or you can try something like there's a pigment called C1 Metallizer, which is a powder you rub on and buff off. They're probably very, very good. You could, if you're never going to ever handle the model, you apparently can get good results if you gloss coat it black, gloss paint it black, and then rub all over it with graphite. That gives you a nice metallic surface, but it will come off if you touch it, so it's not an ideal solution. There is another powder you can rub on, but I can't remember what it's called. If you're not doing a shiny car and you want to make it look like weathered metal, then your AK True Metals and Extreme Metals are really, really good for that. But if you want that proper reflective finish, you're probably looking at Alclad or C1 Metallizer.
Yeah. Just on that note, I'll just do a quick screen share about
screen share.
We missed this off, but it's sort of fitting. I was going to do it next week, but we'll do it now. Is this there's a weathering aircraft metallics? There's a metallics weathering magazine like the one we saw before about the pigments. There's this one on weathering metallics. It'll be all in there. Yeah, have a look. Okay.
But yeah, with metallics, it's quite limiting. I thought of one other thing for shiny metal as well. I just remembered it and I've recently forgotten it. Hello. Sigh. There was something else, another way to do it, but I forgot.
Yeah, I think we're getting to the our brains are fried now. I think it's time to call it a night. Right. I think it is time to call it a night. And thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And we've actually gone on for an hour and a half. You've got
one last question, Ted. Sorry, but Alan Cullen says carpet in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want cold floor when I'm getting out of the shower in the middle of winter.
Do you have one of those dolls on top of the toilet system with toilet roll in it?
What, with the puffy out dress?
Yeah.
No, we were never quite that middle class. We didn't have the avocado bath set either.
Right. It's time to go and do other stuff like bed.
Food.
Food and bed.
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine.
I've still got 140 episodes to watch yet.
I'm going to go on YouTube that episode from Star Trek to see if I find that Starfighter.
Yeah.
Watch some sci-fi. Hey, you've got sci-fi. It's going to be a sci-fi night, isn't it?
Yeah. You came up with the ideas and you put yourself in that corner, Ted.
No,
I will get you making a sci-fi kit. Yeah, even though you've made a Gundam already, I'll get you working on something.
No. On that note, we will say goodnight.
Yes.
So, right, thank you everybody. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever is left of it, wherever you be in the world. A long weekend. Back to work tomorrow for most people, apart from Foxx, who's at work all the time.
I have the worst. My boss is terrible. I hate my boss.
Yeah, I put a grievance in about the boss.
Yeah, but I don't know my own email address.
Right, folks. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you everybody for watching. Remember to go along to eModels.co.uk for all your model making needs.
Yep, and don't forget we mentioned it before. Have a look on the eModels Facebook page, and if you've got some models sitting on there on the bench, send us some photographs. Let's have a look at them. Send them along to the eModels Facebook page. Post them on there. We can showcase them. We might pick one or two out. Hopefully, we'll try and feature them. We never know. We'll see what we can do. But thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and well done to the sticker and mug winners and things like that. That's all the Starship filth that Foxx has got. Look at that.
Look at that. All the Starship filth in the world. I'll just leave you with that.
Yeah. Right. Good night, everybody. Good night. Bye. 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 Look at it. Just look at it. Oh, go away, Foxx.